Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So I've had a few of you ask whether or not it's still worth it to go to Barouki or Barouki Otherlands as well as other Otherlands. And overall, my comment would be no, only because if you do have the ability to, going to Garouki dungeon hard, which is using also 2 green keys, is a much better use of your green keys, since you can also farm for Azami's Light, as well as farm for those Grafta. And of course, if you do have 360 Light or 360 Shadow, getting all 5 slots is much more valuable than farming here where you can have a rare chance only at a chance script and fight, 15 to 20 or more times through each area in order to get the required amount of shiny drops from mobs, as well as for boss drops in order to upgrade and craft your Otherlands weapons. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. Now, the reason I'm going back to Barouki is only to show you, when I first started many months ago, when Barouki first came out, the Otherlands was extremely difficult, and given that there was no Grafta system and it had very limited 5-star characters, the challenge was immense. Now that we have a fully powered team with manifest weapons as well as wind Grafta, I want to re-tackle it and see if the difficulty level has dropped a little bit. And you can see later on in this video that my answer to that is yes and no. Now, first of all, if you guys haven't been to Otherlands at all, make sure you just check this video out, and you can see that right now I am farming and recovering MP in the back. And the reason for that is that most of these mobs, especially in the area 3 where we're tackling right now, are all level 80 and they have immense amounts of HP. Other than the Plum Goblin that has a slash weakness, all the other mobs in this area don't have any particular weaknesses, and so you basically need 2 full AoEs to clear the mobs. Also, just like in Garouki, we are using Amy to swap with Mariel for her Valor Chant, which increases speed and power of your team so that your team not only acts first, but deals 30% more damage due to her VC power up. And so a lot of principles that we've learned while farming other areas can be applied here. Again, when I first started this, and this probably came out in May last year, so only the game was about 3 months old. A lot of these strategies I hadn't even fully learned yet, and so I'm hoping to share with you another run through of this entire area, and it will be broken up over 3 videos since each video is quite long, and I wanted to kind of break it up so you can watch the sequences you need, or just check out the boss battles just to see the difficulty level of those as well. So again, for those who don't know, most of the different areas have anywhere from 3 to 4 areas. Areas 1 and 2 have 3 areas which have 5 battles of mobs each, 15 battles, and Area 3 has 20 mobs, which is 4 areas, and of course Area 4 only has the boss battle. And all of them in very hard do have a chance of getting rare chance scripts at all. You are also looking for shiny mobs, and it would be the shiny Plum Goblin, which shows up fairly rarely. You will need an AF bar ready to go in order to activate and kill off the shiny mob, otherwise it will run off. And that's the same for all shiny mobs in all kind of either Otherlands, or if you're doing Miyu or Seal's another dungeon, all those areas with those shiny mobs do need an AF bar to start. So later on in this video, you'll see my strategies on making sure I do have enough of an AF bar to clear the mobs if I do come across any. Because the worst part is, when you finally run across one of those rare shiny mobs and you don't have a bar, it's very upsetting, especially since they run off on the first turn, and if you do want to get one of those shiny mob drops in the Emporium, it does cost 30 Sabira's gems, so quite costly for the chance of even just buying one. And keep in mind that for a lot of the upgrades you'll need multiple ones. Level 1 weapons need 1, level 2, 2, and so on and so forth until you need 10 for plus 10. And in Barouki Otherlands, the weapons you're looking for to upgrade is the Katana, which allows increased speed as well as increased damage when HP is less. As well, you'll also want the Delos Zyphos, which currently Annabelle is using. Hers is a +5 right now, and that's why I'm also farming for materials for that. And that one gives bonus type resistance right off the bat, which is quite nice as well. So, as you can see when I'm running through the mob battles, they are still very difficult, and they can still land anywhere from 1 to 2,000 damage per hit. The Abatos, trolls or whatever you call those, actually can land criticals, which can actually end your enemy in one hit and kill off one of your characters if you haven't debuffs. And so the team I prefer to go with is Leclerc OG, and I haven't used her for a while because she is relatively weak power-wise. However, her Aiming Flood AoE really helps mitigate a lot of power. You can also use AoEs like Yuan, which can stun, and things like that, as well as the use of Valor Chance, which reduce power as well. So we're here at the first boss, which is the Abatos brothers. I do recall when we were first tackling it many months ago, it was a lot more challenging. It was a tight DPS check in the fact that if you don't deal enough damage, once you deal the damage down to a certain amount, the bosses change modes and can wreck you with multiple earth AoEs, as well as self buff. You can see that power buff, which can also kill your characters very, very easily. Now in this case, these bosses are weak to wind, and many of the bosses here are either weak to wind or at least vulnerable to wind. So they resist, in this case, earth and water. Now I don't care about the water resistance because we are using Leclerc purely for a power debuff, and we're going to swap it out. And before I realized that I wasn't able to do as much damage, but you can clearly see that by even powering the bar to about 3/4 or more, I've already dealt more than 1/4 to 1/3 of its HP, and so I probably could have 2 or 3 turned AF this, but I'm just playing it safe because, like I said, very, very bad memories from running these over and over and over again and having tough battles. I also remember that in most old runs, when I did all 4 areas in one go, and I do kill all 4 bosses in one go, only because otherwise you lose 2 green keys if you do finish it off. And notice we're laying the smackdown on the boss very, very easily, and with the wind debuff as well as the power up with the manifest weapons for both Suzette and Azami, the battle is very, very easy. And there we go.
That's a lot of damage.
Yes, yes it is. So, note that I did clear all the mob battles from Area 1 and Area 2 first. Now, you can also do all 4 areas and kill all 20 mobs and then come back to fight each boss, which was what I did when I was a lot weaker. But if you're strong enough, you can certainly do this. And we're going to go back to the Forest Guardian here. And note that it is level 90, so quite deadly. And what we have to do is, because it does have both physical as well as elemental AoEs, physical single target of course, we want to make sure we keep power and int debuff, as well as using a type shield if we do need it. And so we're just going to lay multi-hits with our multi-hit attacks, and then also charge up some of our MP in the back, similar to what we did with the mobs. Now against boss horrors, it's a lot harder to charge up your AF bar. But that being said, we do need it because we're going to be wandering into Area 3, and we want to, again, make sure we do have that half AF bar for use against any shiny mobs which may come our way. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but I have mentioned this in many previous videos. If you choose to, you can actually fight a mob in front of a treasure chest, then try to encounter the next treasure mob encounter, and if it's not a shiny, you can actually reset the game, open the chest, and your next encounter will be different. It also works the same against horrors, where you can fight a horror, run away, flick it away, and re-encounter a mob to see if that is a shiny instead. Now, I would say that is very time-consuming, but it is an option if you feel like sitting there for hours to try to farm a couple of extra shiny mobs. So keep that in mind. So again, I'm just trying to recover and not die here. Okay, so you can see with the critical, 2800 damage, quite significant, and we're going to try to run away. And note that without the debuffs, it's 1700 or more. And there goes Suzette. She took one for the team. And so, since there's only one treasure chest for Area 2, we're going to make our way to the exit and get ready for Area 3. So remember the treasure chests are 2121. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.